Well, the role of architecture in our contemporary society in general is obvious because everyone lives in architecture. Citizens live in architecture. The problem is that many times the role of architects, which is a different thing, it's not the role that they should play every day. I believe that architects should influence the decisions of politicians in general, but this is not what we can see nowadays, not only in my country, Portugal, but also in other countries. Architecture in my country was recognized mainly in the last of 20th century and beginning of this century. Architects became popular, and because we have very well-known architects like Albert Caesar and Sotomayor and others, architecture became recognized. But I believe it was in a superficial way, because somehow the knowledge that architects can bring into the discussion of the cities and politics, a role of discussions, it's not still enough to enhance the politicians' decisions into better results. In Portugal and mainly Lisbon, the projects related with renovation of historical areas are growing each day in a way that architects many times don't have capacity to follow this speed. So I believe that one of the main challenges for architects is how to transform, for example, the mentality of investors so that we have more time for the projects, and how to respond both to the exigence of the investors and to the exigence of the regulations that are established to the historical areas. This is a main question because for many years it was common in Portugal to grow the cities with new construction, and now it's a lot about renovation. I think that reporting from the front brought us into the consciousness that people now live in a completely different way. Populations are moving from one country to another. I think that reporting from the front brought architects into a completely different and specific field of reflection. People now and populations go from one country to another, and the idea of citizenship is completely different. The idea of belonging into a place now, it's different. So architecture must follow this reality, and architects must create different ways of responding into this new reality, that it's completely a new one. I think that in Europe we have completely different realities, but one that I find really important is that now investors are reducing a lot time for projects. Architects have to do projects in less and less time, so the quality of architecture in general is suffering from this reality. Architects need more time to think, need more time to do competent projects, and I think this is a problem that I find in completely different countries in Europe. In Balkan countries, one aspect that I think is crucial is that the need of regulations, of urban planning in general, of ways of controlling the growth of the cities and the transformation of historical cities, this is really a crucial issue that must be solved in these countries. I think that since the condition of life of people in general is completely related with the quality of architecture, and the quality of architecture depends a lot on both the competence of architecture, competence of architects, engineers and so on, but also the competence of politicians who decide the future of the cities and the way these cities are transformed. I think it's really important that architects find ways to involve the politicians in the reflections who can feed the discussion of the cities and provide better basic information for the political decisions. So I think that events like biennales, triennales, architecture weeks and so on could be moments of reflection where politicians should be present, to get information, to participate in debates and discussions, so that in the end their decisions become more well informed by the knowledge that the architects, the people from geography and other disciplines can bring into the discussion of these questions. Cities are so different from country to country, and even inside one country. And since I don't know what are going to be the future cities, it's really complex to find a catalyst for these cities. Anyway, I think if the people are in the center of decisions of the design, and consciousness that the earth resources are not endless, these two aspects could be important catalysts for the future of architecture of the cities. I think the future challenge, the bigger future challenge for the future of architecture is still to provide to all the population, not only the rich ones, but also the poor ones, good conditions for living, a proper house, a proper neighborhood. So I still identify that after centuries, this is still the biggest challenge for the architects in the future.